The card on the bottom, we have the Nine of Imps. And the Nine of Imps, you'll notice the imp in the foreground here. And these imps are fire signs. He's moving on. It's like he's moving out ahead of the pack. But not in a competition. Like, see how they're casually standing or leaning, that sort of thing. It's not a competition. It's simply that he's decided to break ranks and go out into the world and see his own thing. So for some of you, it may be about breaking away from the familiar, the traditional, the safe, the secure, and seeking new opportunities and things. So we'll put this to the side, and we may draw on that again as we see over time what these other cards have to say to you. We have here the Five of Ghosts. And the Five of Ghosts is about crying over spilt milk. You'll see right here he's got a pail that's overturned and the water's spilling out. And it's being lost into the sea beyond his feet. The ghosts are sympathetic. The pumpkin's upset. But this is something of a don't cry over spilled milk card. In that, be sure that although it's appropriate to grieve the loss of something or to respect the fact that you feel a lack in a way, you also want to acknowledge the bucket that is right side up and that is still filled, right? There comes a point where we shift from losses to appreciation of gratitude, and always be sure that you're finding the balance. Like, we don't want to disrespect ourselves by not giving ourselves permission to feel even our uncomfortable feelings. But we don't want to live so long in the uncomfortable feelings that we fail to experience gratitude, or maybe we don't recover from it as fast as we might. So just be careful that your focus is on a good balance for you, right? Now, there may be some confusion or lack of focus or lack of understanding or awareness of where you're supposed to be going here. It's like almost all of them have arrows that they're holding on to. They're in the air. They look like they've been busy, but they're not really sure. I can't tell if they're trying to rid the house of ghosts or if they're going to haunt the house. Like, they don't really seem all that unified in their purpose or consistent with it either. So there may be something to do with this, the focus on the negative is easier because you're experiencing some kind of a confusion or a lack of focus, when what you really want is to be able to focus your energies at this time. And then this card here is the Knight of Imps, which is fast-moving energy. It's fire sign energy, just like the 8 was. And the Knight of Imps is somebody who's passionate, who's going forward into the world and trying out new things. This could be romantic passion that's coming in. Not necessarily. Depends on, where you are in your life right now and so forth. But this is fast-moving energy. So now, all of these cards here represent your most recent past. So what's interesting about that is it seems that this is something that you're doing, like this Knight of Imps. You're moving forward in a direction, even though you're feeling some confusion about where you're going, and you're still experiencing an overwhelming sense of loss over that. So I'm not sure that this would be your best time to be making action, right? If you don't know where you're going, maybe you should stay put until you figure it out. But once you know where you're going, you can map out your route, right? So maybe some reflection would be a good thing, maybe slowing down a little bit, just to make sure that you're taking care of what you need to do. You want to move away from that. I feel like you want to reject or not pay attention to that. But Cancer, that's not going to work for you. You're too emotional. You're a water sign. So you're going to need to respect yourself in that process. Right? These guys have something that they need to do, but they're kind of confused. This Nine of Imps knows what time it is and where he's going. So if you get to that place of clarity, by all means, take your next steps. But make sure that you move from the 8 of Imps energy to the 9 of Imps energy before you make those Knight of Imps steps. And all of this is about passion and fire. It could be passion for your job or career. Could be passion for your family. Anything that you care about, right? Anything that fires you up. Now up here, this is more your present tense. We have the 5 of Imps, and this is something that's on your mind. Is these imps? There's too many cooks spoiling the broth. All chiefs and no Indians, whatever the expression is, right? You got too many bosses, and everybody's got a different opinion. Nobody's working towards the same goal, right? In the Five of Imps, they're going to be putting together, they're going to be erecting a pentagram. And all five of these should be working together to make it happen, but it seems like they lack a blueprint, and they're just not doing very well to work together. That may be some of the source of your disappointment over here. Feeling disappointed because you just can't work together. There's too much conflict that's going on in the situation. So for some of you, there's conflict, maybe lack of vision, lack of goal, lack of direction, lack of instruction. Maybe the leadership is not strong or clear on the topic, and it may be leaving you somewhat confused. We've had some toxic bosses come up in the readings, and I did the readings in order, starting with Scorpio, and there were several readings where people seem to be having bad situations at either work or home. This Judgment card in the middle, though, this is a really good card. This is about clarity. This is about wising up. This is about learning your karmic lesson and saying, oh, I get it. I get it. And then the next step for that is the world, where you take the steps to complete the old cycle, and then you begin through the Fool, the journey into the new cycle. So Judgment is about that awareness that we have that enables us to come out of the fog or the lack of clarity of the Eight of Imps to say, oh, yeah, this is what. And then that, of course, would give very informed steps to your Nine of Imps moving on from that energy. So, again, I feel like you may focus a little bit more on the negativity, but just remember the fact that you're aware that there may be some strife or disharmony or lack of common goal. Think of that as a blessing, because the more you are aware of your circumstance, the better able you are to make informed choice about how to make corrections or changes to that, right? Okay, so I want to make sure I'm not missing anything or whatever. Sometimes I follow the story of the cards, whether it's in order or not. But I don't want to miss any specific one. Queen of Pumpkins here. She's the quintessential Earth mother, right? Typically Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. And this could be your partner, Cancer. This could be your friend. This could be you even. If you have that earthen energy, like this is somebody that's good at paying her bills. She stays grounded and focused, clear-minded. And this correlates strongly with the Judgment card. Right? If you're acknowledging you're acknowledging your truth, you're aware of what's going on for you, of what steps need to be made. You know, you're doing the minutia, you know, the little steps that you need to do in the middle to make it happen. Then this can be a very good, both of these energies harnessed together can be really good, right? Because it gets you on firm footing and keeps you stable, you know, keeps you firm when you need to be. Now, let me move up here. So we look at the Magician card. He's the first after the Fool. The Magician has to do with understanding the elements and harnessing them for his own power and purpose. Example, a prayer can be very powerful for a person to do. When you know what you want, you can take those action steps to make it happen. So that's kind of what's doing here. The Magician, you'll notice all the elements are represented here. We got the fire, the water, the earth element, another earth element, excuse me, and the air element up here. So this is really about mastery. When you identify what you want to do, your action steps will unfold. And the Magician is really kind of, he's working well in tandem with all of that. You went from this disappointment to conflict to saying, I'm going to pull a rabbit out of a hat. Maybe that means you feel like you're going to pull a miracle out of your hat at the last minute. But it could simply be that you're getting your ducks in a row, that you're identifying where you want to go, and that clarity is coming in with a Judgment card, right? And also being able to take some kind of action step with that. All right. So now if we look at the Five of Bats, this is a similar energy to the Five of Ghosts, the Don't Cry Over Spilled Milk card. Note that both are fives. In fact, you've got 3 5s out of 4 in here, not counting Major Arcana, right? Anyhow, the Five of Bats, this thief has stolen the candy. The thief has stolen the candy, and it's left the trick-or-treater crying. So, again, this child is crying and upset, doesn't see the bats coming along to amuse, doesn't seem to care that there's a person dressed as a clown that's trying to cheer the child up. The child's bummed out. Now, for some of you, it could be that this air of disappointment kind of carries through from yesterday to tomorrow, metaphorically speaking, right? It could take days or weeks or whatever the energy is. Some of you might have said, oh, screw it all. I'm tired of feeling like a victim here. You might be the robber going out and taking the candy. So find out how that relates for you, right? For most of you, it's going to be some of that negative energy coming through here. But the Magician is about taking action. And then we see this 10 of Pumpkins here, which is about financial success, material success, nice house, car, home life, money in the bank, whatever that means for you, right? Whatever would make your pumpkins a 10. And 10's the completion level, right? That's the highest that it goes before it starts again at the 1. So what we're saying here is there's some fast-moving energy from change, something going on. We see some sort of an earth sign or somebody who relates to you in an earthly or earth sign kind of a way. Could be a manager, a supervisor, a business person, something like that. Becoming more clear and focused in your days and weeks ahead. But still some of that energy of victimization, in spite of all the good things that you've got going on, right? This 10 of Pumpkins is really good material success. So you have security and stability. So it's not that, but something's bothering you about some of these conflicts up here with people. Be careful that you're setting boundaries with the people that you should be setting boundaries with, because you may have somebody in here that sees you with a bullseye on your back, or, you're the mark, or however they put that, Now, what I'm going to do next is to pull a Archangel Raphael Healing Oracle card by Doreen Virtue. Archangel Raphael says that food is medicine, and he brings you this card as a reminder of its curative properties. Instead of looking at a balanced diet as removing something enjoyable, why not reframe it so that you view nutritious foods as adding to your life's enjoyment? It feels good to eat healthfully, knowing that you're supporting your body's energy through sound choices. You drew this card to validate what your angels have already been telling you intuitively. It's time to make positive dietary changes. You can do this gradually if you prefer, as even small concessions in the direction toward improved food choices can make a difference. By saying the prayer below, Archangel Raphael will help you reduce or eliminate unhealthy cravings. Possible specific meanings include: listen to your intuition about dietary changes. Weight management is healthful for you. Your body is very sensitive to the foods you eat and the beverages you drink. Change your eating habits and you'll change your life for the better. And the prayer stated on the card is: Dear Archangel Raphael, thank you for guiding me to make positive eating and drinking choices and for reducing or eliminating my cravings for unhealthful substances.